who believe and those who are waking up to this truth, Most High. Have grace on those brothers and sisters who are waking up, that they may see your word and change, Most High, for the better. And we ask, Most High, that we all try to honor this Sabbath day to the best of our ability. Most High, no buying, no cooking, no working. We pray, Most High, that if brothers and sisters aren't able to get the day off, Most High, help them to get the day off, Most High. Due time, we understand that all things can be healed. We ask, Most High, that you bless all the Akim and Aquats out there teaching this word, all the different camps, all the different schools. We ask that you protect them, Most High. We ask that you watch over them, Most High, who are in trouble, who are in need of favor. We ask that you bless them with that gift. We give you all praise, Most High. Bless our health. Bless our families to wake up to this truth, Most High. This is the truth. This is life. We give you all praise, Yahweh. By Shem, HaMashiach Yahushua, there we pray. Amen. So we're going to go ahead and get into this conference call, and I titled this Praying Towards the East. Okay, praying towards the East. Why do we do it? Okay, what's the purpose of it? So we're going to go into the scriptures and just look at some things according to the scriptures. I'm not just going to talk like I've seen some people do, just talk, but we're going to talk, and we're going to read, and we're going to go through precepts, and try to bring out the word to the best of our ability, according to the Most High's word. All right? So have your Bible, your Apocrypha, pen and pad, and those are the books that we're going to deal with today. Okay? So we're going to start off with Colossians chapter 3, verse 17. Colossians chapter 3, verse 17. And can all you brothers and sisters hear me? We hear you. Come. All praises. So Colossians 3 and 17, and it reads, and whatsoever you do in word or deed, do all by Shem HaMashiach Yahushua, giving thanks to the Adonai Yahweh by Shem HaMashiach Yahushua, by him. All praises to the Heavenly Father and His Son, Yahushua. Okay? So with this, I want to open up with Matthew chapter 6, verse 33, because this is important. Concerning the temple, this is important. Matthew chapter 6, verse 33. And it reads, but seek ye first the kingdom of the Most High, and His righteousness, and all these things shall be added unto you. That means everything. The Hebrew, learning the Hebrew. If you seek after the Most High will give you understanding of the right Hebrew. Okay, of the ancient Lashon Kadash. The Most High will give that understanding to you. Seek after the kingdom. Okay, praying to the temple is another thing. We pray to the east. Okay, if your heart ain't right, the Most High, you pray that the Most High get your heart right so you can be blessed. Okay, and so that's one of the main factors. Seeking first the kingdom. You have to seek it first. When you stop seeking for the kingdom, there's something wrong. What do you expect to receive from the Most High as far as His gifts go? If you don't seek for it, you ain't going to get it. Okay? If you don't seek for the understanding, you will not receive the gifts that the Most High is going to bless you with. All right? And you don't want to lose that spirit. Once you lose your spirit, it's a wrap. You can't put your hand to the plow and turn around. You got to continue to do the work. You got to keep teaching this truth. Okay? Let's go to Luke chapter 17. I appreciate you brothers and sisters being on the conference call. You got to be diligent. All praises. Let's go to Luke chapter 17, verse 20. Luke 17 and 20. And when he was demanded of the Pharisees when the kingdom of the Most High should come, he answered them and said, the kingdom of the Most High cometh not with observation, neither shall they say, lo here, or lo there. For behold, the kingdom of the Most High is within you. That's where it starts. Okay, you got some brothers who face the east. They don't have any love for their brother. So how you going to face the east and pray to the Most High? It's an abomination. You got to love your brethren. We gather not based on doctrine. We gather just to have understanding and to love our brothers. We're learning how to love each other in this Babylonian Edomite kingdom. We're learning how to love each other. These people on this earth right now are living very short lives. The Most High is blessing our people in His truth to overcome things that the average person cannot overcome. You know how many people committing suicide right now? There's a lot of young people committing suicide. It's crazy. And I'm saying that on alarm rate. I keep hearing about this stuff. Yeah, I mean, I'm bringing it up because I keep hearing about it. And people are leaving this earth, man. So us teaching this word for the amount of time that we're on this earth is making a difference. If I'm running into brothers across the nation when I'm traveling, just on average, just walking through Starbucks or something like that, and I'm running into brothers, guess what? This word is spreading. And I remember it was a time I didn't run into nobody that was in the truth. But this truth is spreading. Okay? So, this is the house of the Most High. Is the house of the Most High a building? We should all know that the house of the Most High is not a building by now. Wherever we call on His name, there is the Most High. There He is. All right? When you go to 1 Corinthians 3 and 16, as you can see, I'm bringing scriptures out. Wherever we are, that's where the Most High is. Is it where the temple is? No. It's where we are. 1 Corinthians chapter 3. You think the Most High will forget about us being over here in captivity if we forgot about Him? Absolutely. But if we start believing in Him and keeping His laws, statutes, commandments, guess what? That's where the temple begins. 1 Corinthians 3 and 16. Know ye not that ye are the temple of the Most High, and that the Spirit of the Most High dwelleth in you? See that? If any man defile the temple of the Most High, him shall the Most High destroy. For the temple of the Most High is holy, which temple ye are. See that? So we are the temple of the Most High. Now where two or more brothers and sisters are, guess what? Now you're in the midst of the Most High. The Most High is in the midst of you. He's in the midst of us. Let's go to the book of Joel. Joel is right by Hosea. So the Most High is in the midst of us, but the temple begins with us, right? Let me make you. Daniel, Hosea, Joel. The book of Joel, chapter 2, let's go to verse 28. 2 and 28. Now, verse 27. Let's start at 27. Slack it. And it reads, Joel 2:27. And ye shall know that I am in the midst of Israel, and that I am the Most High your power, and none else. And my people shall never be ashamed. And it shall come to pass afterward that I will pour out my spirit upon all flesh. That's what we're seeing now. And your sons and your daughters shall prophesy. Your old men shall dream dreams. We're dreaming dreams all the time now, brothers and sisters. I hear them, brothers call me all the time talking about their dreams. Your young men shall see visions. And also upon the servants and upon the handmaids in those days will I pour out my spirit. And I will show wonders in the heavens and in the earth. Are you seeing it now? Look at the floods in Louisiana coming through. They already asked for emergency help. And the flood ain't even touched down yet. The tornadoes. Okay, look at these earthquakes from California all the way to Vegas. Most I ain't playing. People are ignoring these signs. And they continually happen. You got aftershocks. You got all kinds of crazy stuff going on. Monsoons and so forth. It says, before the great and the terrible, it says, I started verse 31. The sun shall be turned into darkness, and the moon into blood before the great and terrible day of the Most High come. And it shall come to pass that whosoever shall call on the name of the Most High by Hashem Shai shall be delivered. For in Mount Zion and in Jerusalem shall be deliverance. Where is Mount Zion and where is Jerusalem? Remember, it's a people before it's a place. As the Most High has said, and in the remnant whom the Most High shall call. See that? So that's what he's trying to He's trying to tell us something. He's in the midst of us. Let's go to Sirach, chapter 36. And so all this has to do with the temple. Let's go to your Apocryphas. The book of Sirach, chapter 36, verse 12. 36 and 12 in the Apocrypha, better known as Ecclesiasticus. It reads, O power, have mercy upon the people that is called by thy name, and upon Yashar'Allah, whom thou hast named thy firstborn. O be merciful unto Jerusalem, thy holy city, the place of thy rest. So the Most High's rest is with his people and the land. We already know that, because he tells you in Galatians 4:26, but Jerusalem is the what? The mother of us all. So both are a rest to the Most High. He established us to be in that land. And right now we have been scattered abroad, and we are in exile as a kingdom. But when we go back to the understanding of keeping the law, statutes, and commandments, all that changes. Everything changes. I must say, and I've said this before, and I thank the Most High every day for it. I saw my grandmother. My grandmother is 95. My grandmother is 95 years old. She has kept the Sabbath from the time, let's see, she started keeping the Sabbath when I was about 14. And I'm just about 50 right now. So when I was 14, I seen her go through some things when she started keeping the Sabbath. First, her mom, and I saw this with my own eyes, first her mom rejected her. Then my grandfather rejected her. My grandmother has outlived everybody that rejected her. She's still living. Her mind is still sound. Okay? Her body is still intact, besides the arthritis. But for the most part, she's doing well. And I believe it's because she has kept the Sabbath day. She don't eat no pork. You know, she's right in line with the Most High. The Most High holds that Sabbath day high. Okay, so, you know, the Most High's laws keep us alive, whether it be in the physical form or in the spiritual form. The Most High keeps us alive. So this is something we have to understand about getting Him deep in our hearts, in our minds, in our souls. You know, why must we pray towards these? What's the importance of it? What's the importance of praying to these? So when we go into the scriptures, the history of it, let's go to the history of it first. Let's go to 1 Kings. We're going to touch on the history of it. And it begins with the building of the Most High's temple. Now, when you read 1 Kings chapter 8, verse 1, we're going to read it pretty much through it, but then we're going to jump around in the precepts. All right? So this is something that we all have to remember that happened in the past. It's more important than George Washington cutting down his daddy's apple tree. I'm sure all y'all heard that story. You know what I mean? Abraham Lincoln riding on the Wells Fargo train from the East Coast to the Midwest. You know, it's more important than that. This is something that our forefather did in these days, King Solomon. All right? Then we're going to read in verse 1. Then Solomon assembled the elders of Israel and all the heads of the tribes, the chief of the fathers of the children of Israel, unto King Solomon in Jerusalem, that they might bring up the ark of the covenant of the Most High out of the city of David, which is Zion. And all the men of Israel assembled themselves unto King Solomon at the feast in the month of Ethanim, which is the 7th month. Notice, when it says certain months, you have to remember, a lot of these months that we see has to do with captivities. For example, weeping for Tammuz, we're going to touch on that. Tammuz is a month in the Jewish calendar. That's a Jewish calendar, right? Tammuz The reason why Tammuz exists is because after the Babylonian captivity, the Tammuz worshippers started conquering Jerusalem. And therefore, you have a calendar that has Tammuz in it. All right? So the same thing with some of these other months. We have the names of other gods. Just like today with the months that we have, September, August for Augustus, for these certain kings that people treated like gods. All right? That we don't even think twice about. We say it all the time, but these are gods. Instead of saying the 8th month or the 9th month, the 10th day, we have to reframe our mind. It's a difficult thing to do, but if we talk to each other like that on a regular basis, we start getting used to it. Just like keeping the Sabbath day. It took some time to learn. But saying Yahweh took some time to learn. It's the same thing with the months. All right, verse 3. And all the elders of Israel came, and the priests took up the ark. And they brought up the ark of the Most High in the tabernacles of the congregation. And all the holy vessels that were in the tabernacle, even those that the priests and the Levites bring up. And King Solomon and all the congregation of Israel, why did King Solomon build this temple? He built it because King David could not, because he had too much blood on his hands. The Most High didn't see him fit to have this kingdom built. So all King David all he did was collect the supplies. He just stockpiled the supplies. And during King Solomon's reign, the temple got built because Solomon was a man of peace. All right? So a peaceful temple couldn't be built by a man who had bloody hands. All right? Verse 4. They brought the ark of the Most High and the tabernacle of the congregation and all the holy vessels that were in the tabernacle. Even those did the priests and the Levites bring up. And King Solomon, all the congregation of Israel that were assembled to him, were with him before the ark, sacrificing sheep and oxen that could not be told and numbered, multitude. They were rich. And the priests brought in the ark of the covenant of the Most High unto his place, into the oracle of the house of the most holy place, even under the wings of the cherubims. Cherubims are angels. That was sitting on the ark of the covenant. All right, and I got to say this because some people don't know. When we say Ark of the Covenant, it's not Noah's Ark. The Ark of the Covenant is like a little dresser with the commandments in it. I say dresser so you can understand it. It's a golden dresser with commandments in it. Verse 7. For the cherubims spread forth their two wings over the place of the ark, and the cherubims covered the ark, and the staves thereof above. Now they built these cherubs, or these angels, out of gold and put them on the ark, because the Most High, when you read the scriptures, the Most High told them exactly how he wanted that ark built. And so these angels were placed on it because the Most High told them to do it. They didn't do it because they were worshiping angels. They did it because the Most High gave them a depictive description on how to build this ark. All right, so we got to understand this. Verse 8. And they drew out the staves. The staves are the two poles that go through the ark to pick it up. This is important, this ark. You got to understand the power of this ark. Most High was destroying armies for the Israelites because they had his ark, the commandments, in their hand. And they believed in the Most High first and foremost. Okay, there's stories on the ark. And they drew out the staves, that the ends of the staves were seen out in the holy place before the oracle, and they were not seen without. And there they are unto this day. There was nothing in the ark save the two tables of stone. As you read other scriptures, it tells you that those two tables of stone were made out of a certain rock called sapphire. Okay? Which Moses put there at Horeb, when the Most High made a covenant with the children of Israel when they came out of the land of Egypt. And the reason why I said it's made out of sapphire, when we went over the temple, the kingdom coming back down on the earth and the kingdom being built here on the earth, we talked about how all the different precious stones are going to build up the wall, going to be what the wall is made out of. Well, the ark is made out of a precious stone called sapphire. Okay, the Most High don't mess with no mortar or nothing like that. That's what man mess with. The Most High mess with serious stuff, serious, elements. All right, verse 10. And it came to pass, when the priests were come out of the holy place, that the cloud filled the house of the Most High, so that the priests could not stand to minister because of the cloud, for the glory of the Most High had filled the house of the Most High. Then spoke Solomon. You know them Levite priests, man. You know how they are, lighting that incense every 5 minutes. So you had the incense plus this cloud that came down, all in one place. So you couldn't see nothing. Verse 12. Then spoke Solomon. The Most High said that he would dwell in the thick darkness. Now, just imagine Solomon standing up on a pinnacle talking to the people. He's being serious, but he's being humorous too. Like, hey man, the Most High, he dwells even in the darkest of the darkest places. And you can read that in Psalms, where he goes into the Most High, goes into the deepest pit, and he comes back out. You know what I mean? Verse 13. I have surely built thee an house to dwell in, and settled place for thee to abide in forever. And the king turned his face about, and blessed all the congregation of Israel. Just imagine him just turning his head to and fro, blessing the children of Israel. Here's a king with a serious gold crown on his head, blessing the children of Israel. You imagine that? The wisest man on the earth. Most High blessed this man. It says, and all the congregation of Israel stood. And he said, blessed be the Most High thy power, Yahweh of Yashala, which spoke with his mouth unto David, my father, and hath with his hand fulfilled it, saying, since the day that I brought forth my people Israel out of Egypt, I chose no city out of the tribes of Israel to build an house, that my name might be therein. But I chose David to be over my people Israel. Listen closely now, because we're going he's telling you the history of why this temple was built. And this temple being built at this particular time, remember how we spoke about different captivities? But as the captivities kept happening, the temple began to get corrupted, and more corrupted. And then you go into that. Verse 17. And it was in the heart of David, my father, to build a house for the name of the Most High by power of Israel. And the Most High said unto David, my father, whereas it was in thine heart to build an house unto my name, thou didst well that it was in thine heart. Understand this? It was in his heart. Okay? He had the spirit that was dwelling with him to get this done. Alright? Y'all know how it is. When you're in the truth, like I've made videos where I know there was no way I could have did a video like in 30 minutes or a day. Some of the videos that I did in the past, it took me months to put together. Okay? Now that's a spirit dwelling on somebody to keep doing the same thing over and over and over until it gets done. That's called work. Okay? So the spirit was on King David and Solomon to get this temple done. Okay? This is a spirit that the Most High puts on you. Just like brothers going out there in the streets, that's a spirit. They gotta get out there and teach that word. You know what I mean? What we're doing tonight, that's a spirit to be in the scriptures tonight. Knowing you gotta be here to get this food. The whole world is doing something. I'm in Las Vegas. You know how wicked this place is? Like Sodom and Gomorrah here too. Homosexuality is running rampant right now. Transgendership is running rampant right now. Wherever you look. Men don't even care no more. I remember back in the day when I was a young man, you could call a faggot right to his face. Like, don't touch me, faggot, just like that. You do that now, you got everybody against you. That's why I said you got to teach your children to stay away from this homosexuality. It's not even to befriend it. If you hang out with a friend, if you hang out with them as a friend, it's just as bad as you being one. Okay? If it's at work and you work with an individual, keep it at work, 100. Do your job, bounce. As soon as you get off. No hanging out in no barbecues with them. Alright? Verse 19. Nevertheless, thou shalt not build the house, but thy son that shall come forth out of thy loins, he shall build the house unto my name. And the Most High hath performed his word that he spoke. And I am risen up the room of David, my father, and sit on the throne of Israel as the Most High promised, and have built an house for the name of the Most High Yahweh by Shema Mashek El Shai in Yashua. And I have set there a place for the ark, wherein is the covenant of the Most High which he made with our fathers, when he brought them out of the land of Egypt. Here it is. And Solomon stood before the altar of the Most High in the presence of the congregation of Israel and spread forth his hands towards heaven. What do? When we pray to the east, spread forth our hands, right? And he said, the Most High, thy power of Israel, Yashala, there is no power like thee, in heaven above or on earth beneath, in mercy with thy servants, that walk before thee with all their heart, who hast kept thy servant David, my father, that thou promised him. Thou spakest also with thy mouth, and hast fulfilled it with thine hand, as it is this day. Therefore now thy power of Yashala, keep with thy servant David, my father, that thou promised him, saying, there shall no fail thee in a man in my sight to sit on the throne of Israel, so that the children take heed to their way, and they walk before me as thou hast walked before me. And now, O power of Israel, let thy word pray thee be verified, which thou spakest unto thy servant David, my father. But will the Most High indeed dwell on the earth? Think about that. Will he dwell on the earth? Behold, the heaven and heaven of heavens cannot contain thee. How much less this house that I have built it? Even Solomon knew you can't contain the Most High. So why do these pastors say, let's go real quick to it, Jeremiah 7:4. Why do these pastors do this? Listen to what these pastors say. Isaiah, Jeremiah 7, I believe it's Jeremiah 7:4, isn't it? Yeah, it is right here. Why do these pastors do this? Jeremiah 7:4. Trust ye not in lying words, saying, the temple of the Most High, the temple of the Most High, the temple of the Most High are these. Don't they say that in their churches? This is the church of God. This is God's church. This is his church. Man, that's just a building, man. The people are the temple. You know what I mean? For if ye thoroughly amend your ways and your doings, if you thoroughly execute judgment between a man and his neighbor, if you oppress not the stranger, the fatherless, and the widow, and shed not innocent blood in this place, neither walk after other gods to your hurt. What do they have in the churches? Crosses. What do they have in the churches? Idols. Okay? What do they have in the Catholic churches? Idols. There's over 5,000 Christian denominations in America right now. And they're saying in the next 10 years, it's going to double if we're here 10 more years. How many denominations, what is that doing for everybody? They're getting deeper and deeper in the temple of their Most High, their gods, their pagan gods. You understand? The temple of the Most High, the house of God. This is the house of God. That's why Solomon said, man, walk after the Most High with your heart. You know what I mean? Follow his ways, keep his commandments. He said, this temple can't even contain the Most High. Solomon knew. Verse 30. That temple was for all the other nations to see, just so you know. To prove to the other nations that we have a power. That's what it was for. The other nations need something to see. We're not supposed to be those type of people that have to look at something to prove what we are. We don't need images like that. Verse 30. And hearken thou to the supplication of thy servant, and of thy people, Yasharallah, when they shall pray towards this place, for place Jerusalem, and hear thou in heaven thy dwelling place. And when thou hearest, forgive. See that? So, I want to show you, jump up to 28. Verse 28. It says, yet shalt thou respect unto the prayer of thy servant, and to his supplication. Now, how many times have you heard this verse about respect, that the Most High is no respecter of person? So many of y'all heard that verse. Christian churches, what do they teach? God is no respecter of persons. Right? Let's get that verse. Let's get it. It's in Romans 2. God is no respecter of persons. First thing Christians say. Romans 2 and 11. And it reads, for there is no respect of persons with the Most High. It starts verse 10, so we won't be skipping nothing. But glory, honor, and peace to every man that worketh good, to the Jew first, and also to the Gentile. For there is no respect of persons with the Most High. For as many as have sinned without law shall also perish without law. What are you seeing right here? And as many as have sinned in the law shall be judged by the law. Okay, don't be offended at that last verse. We're supposed to keep the laws, but this is when you're breaking the laws. You shall be judged by the law. But look at the first part again of verse 12. For as many as have sinned without the law shall also perish without. So you have no chance at all if you perish without the law. You got no chances of being redeemed at all if you perish without the law. At least you have a chance with the second part of verse 12. And as many as have sinned in the law shall be judged by the law. At least you have an opportunity to repent. You understand? For not the hearers of the law are just before the Most High, but the doers of the law shall be justified. So what is this respect of persons? What is it talking about? Christians don't go into it. It's regarding Israel keeping and breaking the law. That's what the respect of a person is. It's about Israel keeping the laws, which they're not teaching, and breaking the laws. You don't believe me? Let's go to it. Let's go to Exodus 2 and 25. Exodus 2 and 25, and let's read. And it reads, and the Most High looked upon the children of Israel, and the Most High had respect unto them. Wait a minute. So the Most High does respect people. He respects Israel when they what? When they keep the commandments. When they keep the commandments, the Most High respects them. Because they're doing His will. There's honor there. So you learned something today. Let's go back to 1 Kings, chapter 8, verse 28. Yet have thou respect unto the prayer of thy servant, and to his supplication. Okay, so what is supplication? That means to beg. Here's supplication. Let's go to verse 11. Verse 11. Can't remember. 38. The supplication. Yeah. Let's go to 1 Kings 11 and 38. Here's the supplication right here. And it shall be, if thou wilt hearken unto all that I command thee, and wilt walk in my ways, and do that is right in my sight, to keep my statutes and my commandments, as David my servant did. Aren't we the tabernacle of David? This is the supplication. That I will be with you, and build thee a pure or sure house, as I built for David, and will give Israel unto thee. And I will for this afflict the seed of David, but not forever. See this? So this is talking about us. That's the supplication. Let's go back to 1 Kings 1 and 28. Yet have thou respect unto the prayer of thy servant, and to his supplication, O thy power, to hearken unto the cry and to the prayer which thy servant prayeth before thee today. So the other people, they pray all the time, but what are they praying for? Are they doing what King David was supposed to be doing? We're supposed to be following what King David did, keeping the commandments. That's our supplication. So we have to chastise ourselves with the lowly state and approach him just like King David did, so he can hear us. Let's go to Leviticus 26. All this is doing with the temple. What we're discussing is the temple. This lowly state is part of the temple. Leviticus 26 and 9. Leviticus chapter 26, verse 9. It reads, "For I will have respect unto you, and make you fruitful, and multiply you, and establish my covenant with you." You see that? You're going to have respect unto us again. Let's read on. "And ye shall eat old store, and bring forth the old, because of the new. And I will set my tabernacle among you, and my soul shall not abhor you." Like I said, we are the tabernacle of what? King David. He says he's going to restore the house of King David. "And I will walk among you, and will be your power, and ye shall be my people. I am the Lord your power, which brought you forth out of the land of Egypt, that ye should not be their bondmen. And I have broken the bands of your yoke, and made you go upright." This is what we're trying to do in Babylon today. This task that we're doing ain't too much different from what they did in those days. Back in those days, it was worse. Just think about Lot. When Lot took those two angels to his house, do you know men followed those two men all the way back to his house for them to be banging on the door? You know how men chase after women? You know, chase after them. They drive in their car and jump out the car and try to get at women. That's how they was getting at men back then. Men getting at men the same way. They followed Lot all the way back to his house. Wickedness. If that ain't wicked, I don't know what is. Verse 14. "But if you will not hearken unto me, and will not do all these commandments, and if ye shall despise my statutes, or if your soul abhor my judgments, so that ye will not do all my commandments, but that ye break my covenant, I also will do this unto you. I will even appoint over you terror, consumption, and a burning ivory, that shall consume thy eyes, and cause sorrow of heart. And ye shall sow your seed in vain." That's homosexuality too. Where's that seed going? They ain't making another one. They ain't making another body. "For your enemies shall eat it." Most I ain't praying. Be consumed. That's what our people don't need to be consumed, especially right now. I want to show you something in Zechariah. But first, let's read 1 Kings 8 again. Let's go back to 1 Kings 8. 1 Kings chapter 8, verse 29. So Solomon is telling the people what they need to do, and they also must pray towards these, right? Here it is. "That thine eyes," this is verse 29, "that thine eyes may be open toward this house, night and day, even toward the place of which thou hast said." What's your eyes should be open to this place night and day? What is the eyes? The eyes is also your mind. I mean, you can't see nothing with your eyes. Can you see Jerusalem from here? It's talking about your mind, your spirit. Okay? "That thine eyes may be open toward this house." All right? Doing righteousness, your mind, night and day, even toward the place of which thou hast said, "My name shall be there." What's his name? Yahweh. "That thou mayest hearken unto the prayer which thy servant shall make towards this place." Okay? There's so many, that's why I said you have to seek for the Most High. There's so much information out there to seek after the Most High. I mean, you got different codexes. You got the Lepro Codex. You got the Linen Codex. You got all these different forms of Hebrew that if you seek after Him, the Most High will tell you exactly what to grab hold of to learn the lexicon. We are already telling you what it is. It's Lashon and Tadash. It's the ancient Hebrew. Okay? But these different codexes help you to just have a daily conversation, like, how are you doing today? You know, most brothers don't know how to talk. How much can I buy this for? In Hebrew. You know what I'm saying? We know how to say shalom and things like that, but it's just the daily lexicon, like we talk in English to different people. Oh, you look beautiful today. It's a nice dress. You know, that's the codex. That's what we have to get on. Verse 30. And hearken thou to the supplication of thy servant and of thy people Israel, when they shall pray towards this place. And hear thou in heaven the dwelling place. And when thou hearest, forgive. Okay, we're going to read 36. If any man trespass against his neighbor, and oath to be laid up on him, to cause him to swear, and the oath come before thine altar in this house. This is talking about the kingdom of heaven, that your prayers go up, right, with the incense of the angels to the Most High, to Yahushua, then to the Most High. It says, then hear thou in heaven, and do, and judge thy servants, condemning the wicked to bring his way upon his head, and justifying the righteous to give him according to his righteousness. And thy people Israel be smitten down before the enemy, because they have sinned against thee, and shall turn again to thee, and confess thy name, and pray, and make supplication unto thee in this house. Then hear thou in heaven. See that? How's you going to hear us in heaven? Our prayers, our thoughts, our actions. And forgive the sin of thy people, Yashala, and bring them again unto the land which thou gavest unto thy father, unto their fathers. When the heaven is shut up, and there is no rain, because they have sinned against the Father, if they pray towards this place, and confess thy name, and turn from their sin, when thou afflictest them, then hear thou in heaven, and forgive the sin of thy servants, and of thy people, Israel, that thou teach them the good way therein, they shall walk and give rain upon the land, which thou hast given to the people for an inheritance. Remember that we spoke about the other nations. When the kingdom comes, if they don't return to that mountain every year, there will be no rain on their land. That's in Zechariah 14 and 17. That rain will stop. Meaning their knowledge and their understanding and wisdom will come to an end. That's us today. Hosea 4:6 all day. Our people are lost for what? A lack of knowledge. No more rain. Got no more rain on us. But now it's raining on us. The dew is sitting in on us right now. We're waking up. Let's go to Isaiah 2. Now I'm about to question some of y'all intellect right now in a minute here. So that's the history of the temple right there. Solomon said to pray towards this place. That's what we do before we start our class. We start praying towards Jerusalem, right? Isaiah chapter 2, verse 1. Isaiah 2 and 1, it reads, the word that Isaiah the son of Amos saw concerning Judah and Jerusalem. And it shall come to pass in the last days that the mountain of the Most High's house shall be established in the top of the mountains, and shall be exalted above the hills, and all the nations shall flow into it. And many people shall go and say, come ye, and let us go up to the mountain of the Most High, to the house of the Most High of Jacob. And he will teach us of his ways, and we will walk in his paths. For out of Zion shall go forth the law. The law is just now starting to come out. The law wasn't here before. We weren't learning the law before. The so-called Jewish people don't even know the law. They eat pork, they eat crab, shellfish. They don't keep the Sabbath days. So the law was never with them. The law is being established now with us, the Negroes, Latinos, American Indians. It's being established. And the word of the Most High from Jerusalem, it reads, verse 4, and he shall judge among the nations, and shall rebuke many people, and they shall beat their swords into plowshares, and their spears into pruning hooks, meaning there's going to be peace. Nation shall not lift up sword against nation, neither shall they learn war anymore. O house of Jacob, come ye, and let us walk in the light of the Most High. The Most High is going to deal with us, right? So now I got to ask y'all a question. So we dwell here in the west coast of this planet, all right, west of Jerusalem. So when we pray, we face the east, correct? So what about if you're living up north? Say you're living in Europe. Are you going to face the east to pray to Jerusalem? That's the question. Would you face there? If you're living below Jerusalem, somewhere like South Africa, are you going to face the east to pray to Jerusalem? If you're living east of Jerusalem, closer to Jerusalem than facing the east to Jerusalem, which way are you going to pray? Are you going to pray facing towards Jerusalem, which is the west, or are you going to face the east?
No, you're going to face toward Jerusalem, because it says no matter where you got to face toward. Because I don't think the scripture says face towards the east, but it says face towards Jerusalem.
Right, that's right. All praises, hallelujah. So check this out. I wanted to bring that up because a lot of brothers and sisters need to hear that, because if they're on the East Coast, I'm not saying East Coast, if they're like in China or if they're in India, don't face the east. Face towards Jerusalem. All right, let's go to Ezekiel 8:16. Let me show you this. This is why the Most High, you got to be a thinking man in the truth. You got to always be thinking, or a thinking woman. Ezekiel chapter 8, verse 16. It reads, "And he brought me into the inner court of the Most High's house. And behold, at the door of the temple of the Most High, between the porch and the altar were about 25 men, with their backs towards the temple of the Most High, and their faces towards the east. And they worshiped the sun towards the east." See that? They're already going off. They're supposed to be facing towards the temple. They got their backs towards the temple, facing the sun. See that? So think about Muslims. Where do Muslims face? They all face the east. I'm just trying to show you the error of everything. You look at churches, all churches are facing the east. So the churches east of Jerusalem, guess where they face? They're facing the east too. I'm just trying to show you the error of man. Okay? All cemeteries are faced east. If you go to Jerusalem and you go east of Jerusalem, all the cemeteries, guess what? They're still facing east. This is the error of man. Okay? We are Israelites. We gotta have sense of the what? Scriptures, according to Nehemiah chapter 8. We have to have sense of the scriptures. Okay? Let's go to 2 Chronicles chapter 6. Second Chronicles chapter 6. And let's go to verse 37. 2 Chronicles 6, verse 37. Okay, now let's read. It says, "Yet if they bethink themselves," what does bethink mean? It means think outside the box. Think about all the errors you've been doing. That includes facing the east. If you're facing east and you pass Jerusalem on the other side of Jerusalem facing the east, you're in error. Okay? Bethink means to think outside, have some kind of intellect. Yet if they bethink themselves in the land, whether they are carried captive, and turn and pray unto thee in the land of their captivity. Did he say, wherever you are in captivity, face the east? It says, turn and pray towards where? Jerusalem. Saying, we have sinned, we have done amiss, and have dealt wickedly. Moses is trying to show us something here. He's trying to tell us to turn and face the east. Drop down to 39. It says, then hear thou from the heavens, even from thy dwelling place, their prayer and their supplications, and maintain their cause, and forgive thy people which have sinned against thee. It's all about having humility facing Jerusalem. All right? And forgiving our brothers and sisters. That's the gate to heaven. Let's go to Daniel. And let's see how Daniel did. Let's see if he faced the east, because Babylon is east of Jerusalem. He was in the Babylonian captivity. Daniel chapter 6. Daniel chapter 6, verse 10. Now when Daniel knew, this is Daniel chapter 6, verse 10, for y'all catching up. It reads, now when Daniel knew that the writing was signed, he went into his house, and his windows being open in his chamber, toward Jerusalem. It didn't say he was facing the east, did it? He kneeled upon his knees 3 times a day and prayed and gave thanks before his power as he did aforetime. So where was he facing? West, towards Jerusalem. That's why we have to understand what we say and do. Okay? Very important. We face towards Jerusalem. So Daniel prayed towards Jerusalem, and that way was, at that time, west. Let's go to Ezekiel 8. Ezekiel chapter 8. And let's go to verse 7. Ezekiel chapter 8, verse 7. And it reads, this is an angel that brought Ezekiel here. It says, and he brought me to the door of the court. And when I looked, behold, a hole in the wall. Then said he unto me, son of man, dig now in the wall. And when I had digged in the wall, behold, a door. And he said unto me, go in, and behold, the wicked abominations that they do here. So I went in, and I saw. And behold, every form of creeping thing and abominable beast, and all the idols of the house of Israel portrayed upon the wall. This is Israel in this place. But guess what they're doing? Following the ways of all the customs that they learned in every captivity. They had it in this temple. And there stood before them 70 men of the ancients of the house of Israel. These are the elders. There's elders in this place. 70 men of the ancients. And in the midst of them stood Jezaniah, the son of Shaphan, with every man his censer in his hand. They're still doing the same things as customary. And a thick cloud of incense went up. They still was like the incense, but they had abominable things all inside that temple. Verse 12. Then said he unto me, son of man, hast thou seen what the ancients of the house of Israel do in the dark? Every man in the chambers of his imagery? For they say, the Most High saith is not. The Most High hath forsaken the earth. He said also unto me, turn thee yet again, and thou shalt see greater abominations that they do. You understand what he said? He's talking about as they continue to live on this earth and more captivities come in, the abominations get bigger and bigger and bigger. Can you imagine how big it is today? Huge. Like I was talking about Tammuz worshippers invading Jerusalem after the Babylonians. And now you got a month named after Tammuz. Why didn't the elders change that? These 70 ancients. They was going along with the Tammuzians. Abominations. Okay? Nothing ever changed. Let's read Ezekiel chapter 8 and 14. Then he brought me to the door of the gate of the Most High's house, which was towards the north. And behold, there sat women weeping for Tammuz. They was even weeping for Tammuz where? At the temple of the Most High. They were still celebrating Christmas in the temple. Thanksgiving. We had elders. We had the ancients. They was lighting incense. Can you imagine how angry the Most High was? Solomon told him when he did what he did in 1 Kings 8 and 30, he told him, if you don't come with the heart of the Most High, you're going to go off. He told him. Alright, verse 15. Then said he unto me, hast thou seen this, O son of man? Turn thee yet again, and thou shalt see greater abominations. And he said it's going to get worse. And he brought me in the inner court of the Most High house. And behold, at the door of the temple of the Most High, between the porch and the altar, were about 25 men, with their backs towards the temple of the Most High, and their faces towards the east. And they worshiped the sun towards the east. There they go, still worshiping the sun. Then he said unto me, hast thou seen this, O son of man? Is it a light thing to the house of Judah, that they commit the abominations which They commit here? For they have filled the land with violence, and have returned to provoke me to anger. And lo, they put the branch to their nose. Look at that. They put the Most High's word to their nose and still can't see it. That's that verse that we read in Isaiah. The ass and the ox knows his maker, but Israel don't know. We putting the word right up to our noses. Still can't see the word. That's the branch. The amap. That's how you say branch in Hebrew. Amap. Let's go to Jeremiah 7. Temple of the Most High. We ain't got to go there. We read that. Temple of the Most High. The Temple of the Most High. That's what they were saying. The Temple of the Most High. Let's go to Sirach. Sirach 51. So yeah, is it important to face towards the east? Absolutely. If you know, as long as you're facing towards Jerusalem. If you're on the opposite side, and you got to face west towards Jerusalem, make sure you do it, so you don't be causing more abominations. This is Sirach 51:13. When I was yet young, or ever I went abroad, I desired wisdom openly in my prayer. I prayed for her before the temple, and will seek her out even to the end. Even from the flower till the grape was ripe, hath my heart delighted in her. My foot went the right way, from my youth up sought I after her. I bowed down my ear a little and received her, and gave much learning. This is all about doing it the right way, following the righteous paths. Most I will open your understanding. Solomon says in verse 17, I profited therein, therefore will I ascribe the glory unto him that giveth me wisdom. And as you keep reading this, the Most High is showing you what we have to do. All right? We're going to get ready to close it. I'm going to go to one more verse. Let's go to John, Gospel of John. So why must we face towards Jerusalem? Because it's the gate to the heavens. It's the Most High's favorite place. The place of our birth. Yakanan chapter 4, verse 20. It reads, Our fathers worship in this mountain, and ye say that in Jerusalem is the place where men ought to worship? And Yahushua saith unto her, Woman, believe me, the hour cometh when ye shall neither in this mountain nor yet at Jerusalem worship the Father. Ye worship ye know not what. We know what we worship, for salvation is of the Jews. But the hour cometh, and now is, when the true worshipers shall worship. You notice how you stress that, true worshiper? You got brothers and sisters trying to worship the Most High, and they're not true worshipers. When the true worshipers shall worship the Father in spirit and in truth, for the Father seeketh such to worship him. It goes right back to what we was reading in Kings. The Most High is a spirit, and they that worship him must worship him in spirit. So spirit is everything. And in truth. See that? Spirit is everything. Most High created the earth through the spirit. And everything that we see around us was created through the spirit. It is about spirit.
The message for...
Alright. So, with that, I'm going to go ahead and end this. I hope y'all got some understanding on the temple. Are there any questions, any comments?
I just wanted to know this last one, 9 and what? It was John what?
Oh, John chapter 4, verse 20. It's when he talked to the woman.
4 and 20.
The Samaritan woman. Yes,
okay.
ma'am.
Okay.
All right. All right.
Yeah.
Happy Ashar Shabbat. Are there any other questions, statements, or comments? All right, Brother Yar, Brother Barzal, Brother Bernard. Go ahead.
Shabbat Shalom, Akim.
Shabbat Shalom.
Yes, it's a good lesson you brought up. I've heard about praying to the east, and you asked that question that really just about if you're in a different territory, different country, how would that work? And so you did you really explained it very well, and all praises to Yahweh B'Shem Mashiach.
That's right.
To do that, man. So it definitely brought it out. And you brought up some scripts. I'm going to keep a lot of these because a lot of them make sense. I mean, it really shines light on it, especially the ones you brought out in 2 Chronicles, Daniel, and Ezekiel, to see different accounts and how they dealt with it. So, it was good. It was good that you put
I appreciate it. I hear you, man. Most side does everything because I didn't have that in my spirit yesterday, but today it hit me, man. I was like, you know what? This is important. Just a lot of our people, I know a lot of new people ask that question. Do I have to face the east all the time? Yeah. But if you're driving, you gotta have some sense too. You know what I mean? If you're driving west and Jerusalem's behind you, what you gonna do? You need a quick prayer. You better say it in spirit and in truth. You know what I mean?
Hallelujah.
Yeah, hallelujah. So I mean, you can't be dumbfounded with this truth. You know what I mean? A lot of people are dumbfounded with it. All right.
There was another scripture real quick. 1 Kings 11, and I didn't get that. 11:1. 1 Kings 11:38.
11 and 38.
Okay. 38.
All right.
Hallelujah.
All right. A lot of this. Brother Bonzal, you got something to say, man? I know you always got something to say about the East, man. What you got to say?
You explained it. Because like I said, it's just a habit. A lot of people say, pray towards the east. But like you said, if you're up in Europe or if you, west of Jerusalem, So, but like I said, it's common sense. Really, you explained it very well.
Well, people try to do things. You ever see somebody try to dance and they try to have the right steps and they don't look right? And then you see somebody dance and they just add their little flavor to it to make it flow. That's the way that's the way we are in this truth. Make it flow, man. Make it flow. Don't look all unorthodox, trying to make the Most High's word do what it don't do. You know what I mean? You got to make the word do what it do. You know what I mean? As Israelites. So I mean, you try to do too much, it's gonna offset everything. There it goes. Somebody had a hard day today.
Might be my nephew. I know that's store anywhere. Put on mute.
Hey, what's funny about the Shabbat though? You got people that work all week hard, man, to deal with the Shabbat comes. They just be looking forward to the Shabbat. They get on the conference call. It's almost like running to the finish line. You get to the finish line, you're like, you just rest. And you collapse, you know what I mean? It's like you want to hear the conference, but your body is just beat, tired. So no, I get it. I'll pray this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is hard.
I'm going to open the mic up. All right?
And I find myself, too, when I go different places, and this happens all the time, the first thing I do, thanks to these little smartphones, iPhones, you got that compass app.
Oh, yeah.
And it's almost like clockwork. Now, I just do it, and I find out where east is. And, of course, none of this is for show. None of this is just for people around you, doing all that. Because, like we learned in Matthew, when Yahushua was teaching as far as praying in secret, and so you just want to find out. So you're giving your supplications, you're giving your prayers wherever you are. You are lining up because you're disoriented, even though you know where you are as far as where the United States is compared to Jerusalem. But when you're in a place that you're not used to going to, and you're going to be there for a minute, like where you are now, you got to, let me line this up and find out if you didn't see where the sun rose or set. may not know which way when you start to pray, which direction you're going to be praying to. So just a little tidbit for everybody on that.
Right. I like that. Yeah, I got the compass on my phone too. That's the first thing I do when I get a new phone. I download just in case I'm somewhere where I'm not familiar with. And say I arrive at nighttime and it's a new moon, I don't know nothing yet. So, it's a blessing to have a compass. These little apps be helping us. God praise. All right, I'm gonna open the line.
Okay, bro, it's been a long week for everybody.
Yeah.
Oh, praise.
Must have been those fireworks, huh?
They still shooting them around here.
the nigger works, I call them.
Mm-hmm. Hey, what's up with I didn't watch the news the last couple of days, but is New Orleans about to get hit, or Mississippi or something like that?
Yeah, with the storm.
Don't you have family out there, y'all?
It's Louisiana, I believe.
Yeah, it's
Mississippi too, huh?
I think so. I thought it was Mississippi too.
It's in the foot part of the boot. Louisiana shaped like a boot, so above the wall, that's like what a toe is for a boot, and straight up north is Mississippi. But it actually is going, and they say but it's going to be downside. Go talk to Mom and them and my brothers and them. They got a lot of rain. But it's not a lot of wind. So the wind's only about 65 miles gusting at 70 miles an hour. So it's supposed to be there right about now. As a matter of fact, that's when the eye's supposed to be. But it's all just symbols. But they're all good to go. It's going up towards Shreveport flow. It's going to go up that way to Alexandria and going toward north. It sounds like a doggone weatherman, man.
I know that place well.
You said it's only 65, 70. You think it sounded like it's 10 miles? Only 65, 70.
Yeah, it's got to be over 45 to be considered a hurricane. Everything's told that it's a tropical storm. So but it's going. It's not going to be as heavy with the winds. They're saying it's going to be more the saturation with all that water because it's just staying in one location. So they're all worried about that. So anyway, back to you, Mr. Josh.
Now the thing is they were talking about it. I haven't really watched the news, but I did watch that Disneyland thing with Jake fighting in the down there. You see that video?
Yeah, I thought that was you, bro. When I got that,
they crazy, man. I was just like, I can't believe they fighting Disneyland. It was crazy, man. They was going at it.
And they were all family, too. They're all related. Not only were all related, they were all in the same household.
Bugged out, man.
Yeah, I was like, man, they didn't even care. I was
man,
like,
the women was taking some hits, boy. They was getting right back up.
Yeah.
So linebackers, they was get punched in the stomach and laying there and get right back up.
That was crazy.
I said, boy.
This is the word of the Lord of hosts. I took you from the pastures and from following the sheep to be prince over my people Israel. I have been with you wherever you have gone and have destroyed all the enemies in your path. I will make you a great name among the great ones of the earth. I will assign a place for my people in Israel. There I will plant them, and they shall dwell in their own land.